Hey, what's up, guys? It's Joe from Sage Dragon. I've pulled my tripod, well, at least my makeshift tripod, closer to the whiteboard here. So hopefully you guys can see it as I go through what I'm going to go through today. I'm going to take a really kind of advanced, kind of deep concept, and I'm going to hope to kind of illustrate it in some simple ways. I've drawn out kind of a mock calendar here. This is all just a mock-up. None of this is like exactly how I do it, but I did want to give you guys an idea of kind of like how I like to program, the whys behind it and whatnot. This is going to be longer than a 10-minute video today, I can already tell. Hopefully not too much longer. So the first bit of context I want to point out here that we need to understand what I'm about to do on the calendar here is my RPE scale here. So this is an RPE scale, perceived exertion chart. RPE is rate of perceived exertion. Personally, like, I think this is a Silver Sneakers RPE chart that Jamie and I have both used in our time as group fitness instructors, in general instructors, fitness instructors. So this one's just followed us both for a long time. It's not perfect. Almost none of these fucking RPE scales are. But this is one of the ones that we feel is kind of the closest thing, right? So, an RPE1 says, okay to go. I feel great and I'm breathing normally. So that's like your warm-ups, or like the walking into the gym from your car if you parked at the end of the parking lot. Like, you've already hit an RPE1. Now we're into workout mode, so now you're good to go. RPE2, very, very light intensity. I feel terrific. I don't even feel like I'm exerting myself. Then we go to an RPE3, very light intensity. This is fun. I feel like I could go forever. Now we're into the RPE4. Now we change colors. We go from this green color into this blue color. We've got light intensity. I can tell I'm exercising. I feel good. Then we go to an RPE5, which is typically, with the way that I work out, a 5 is typically the bottom of what we're going to even use for any sort of even like movement-based, what we start to call training. 5 is like where I start. Not to say that you have to. It's just, for me, I like to work between a 5 and a 9. I like to rarely ever go to a 10, and I also like to be more than a 4 as a minimum. To me personally, like, you can hit a 1 through 4 walking around playing Pokemon Go at the city park, hitting spinners in a timely fashion type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you could hit an RPE 4 if you're grocery shopping fast enough. You know what I mean? So, and the whole point of training is to condition us beyond what our normal calls for. So, like, if my kind of normal life calls for like maybe a 4, then working out at a 6, 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4 times a week, like, that's still going to have, that's not going to have sport-specific expansion benefits for me, but that's going to have like normal life-based expansions for me. So, so again, RPE 5 is a moderate intensity. I'm sweating a little. I'm working. RPE 6, moderate to intense. I'm exercising harder than I thought I would. I'm getting a workout. And then we go to RPE 7. When we get to RPE 7, on the chart here, it changes it from a light blue to a yellow. An RPE 7 is like, it's intense. It's finally hard enough to call intense. It's not very intense. It's not intense, but it's intense enough that you know now it's not fucking light work like it was. Intense. The workout is hard, but I can take it. And then we go to an 8. Very intense. This is difficult. I'm breathing hard. I'm not sure how long I can go. So again, especially like this is another reason why we love this RPE chart. Right there in what it says, I'm not sure how long I can go. That is such a good RPE 8, right? So like my working sets, my compounds are always at a 7 or an 8. Okay, and so for it to say like I don't know how long I can go, that's good. Especially if I assign like an AMRAP, which is as many reps as possible. If I assign an AMRAP and you hit like 30, you weren't at a fucking 8. Like those two don't correlate. If I assign you an AMRAP and I assign you an RPE 8, like you should be hitting like maybe 7, 8, 9 reps, maybe 10, maybe 12 if you're like kind of an advanced lifter and you've really learned how to like grit through it, right? Or you've learned that you can surpass the limitations that your mind is trying in that moment to tell you that you have. If you've gotten to a place where you understand that your mind is honestly going to be the first thing to fucking bitch out on you in the middle of a workout, and you understand that the body can continue a lot longer than the mind tells you that it can, and you've started to condition yourself and like to really understand like this is what training is, then yeah, an RP, like maybe a max of 12 on an RPE 8 based on the way that I program things. But like, you know, and that should surprise you. Like maybe 12, and that 12 should be like, oh shit, I got 12. Not like, yeah, I got to 12. Like, because that's the other thing. If you're getting to 12, then like I need to update your RPE scale. So, or we need to have a new test day. Like maybe you just haven't had a test day and you haven't set your base numbers in order to see that all your base numbers increased by 5 to 20%, and that you know your training sets need to be going up as well. So. Then we go to an RPE 9. It's very, very intense. I'm very uncomfortable. I can't talk in a normal tone of voice. I should slow down. And then we've got our RPE 10, which maximum intensity. I'm completely exhausted. I must slow down immediately. Now, again, to give you some more context around this RPE scale, this RPE scale was based around a group fitness, like constant movement based class. So think like your pre-Zumbas and your pre-mixed fits and your like body shock, you know, fucking body shock Les Mills classes like that. That's what this was originally born from. That's this Silver Sneakers one that follows Jamie and I around. So like the I must slow down immediately context gets lost a little bit. Because the majority of people I tend to train tend to be between 18 and 45, so slightly different occurrences. Also, the way in which I train is also kind of a crucial piece to understand. Because if I have you doing deadlifts or barbell complex or something, then by the time that you feel that like I must slow down immediately, it's already going to be time for a rest. Like hopefully, if I've timed that right. So whereas like we didn't have that flexibility back when we were teaching the Silver Sneakers classes, we had 45 minutes per class period to like get these old folks as like conditioned as we could. So, you know, that RPE chart in that context is kind of more of a self-policing, but then when I use it as programming, I'm just trying to give you guys both sides of the spectrum as far as context and whatnot. So I'm at 9:22. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this now, and I can post that as an RPE scale, and then it'll just be a good prereq before I go into the board behind me, which I'm about to record right now. So tag your friends if you think they find this helpful. Drop us comments, drop us DMs if you have any questions, comments, concerns, bitches, gripes, complaints. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Peace.